From titles that somehow squeeze huge worlds under that 10GB cap to games so small we're measuring them in megabytes, this lot will help you get the very most out of your hard drive. One of the most fun, but also one of the most damp survival games there is, Subnautica's watery world is your oyster, so long as you've got 7GB to spare, and I'm sure you do. With an entire ocean of beautiful sea life to encounter, a mysterious plotline to uncover, and loads of cool gadgets and vehicles to craft, it's safe to say that this aquatic adventure has some real depth. If you spend some time with the original now, you'll be ready to jump straight into the deep end when Subnautica 2 arrives day one on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate in 2026. It's probably so exciting you didn't even notice I basically just used the same depth pun twice in a row. Got it, Bex. Squashing things flat is a great way to save on space, and that's exactly how Hollow Knight is able to cram its huge 2D worlds into such humble file sizes. Even the Void Heart edition of the first game, which throws in all the post-release content, measures in around 9 gigs. Silksong is around the same too. The Metroidvania-style exploration means you're constantly uncovering new nooks and crannies too, so it's a really economic use of your hard drive space. And both games are available now with Game Pass Ultimate. Available now on Xbox Game Pass Premium and Ultimate, Goat Simulator 3 manages to squeeze the entire island of San Angora into just over 8GB. Although, admittedly, some of the construction is a little bit shoddy. I mean, should one goat really be able to cause this much chaos? Now, the beautiful open worlds of Forza Horizon sprawl out for miles. But if you're short on space, why not shrink yourself down for a ride in LEGO 2K Drive? It requires about 9GB and lets players loose on the vibrant world of Bricklandia, while also giving them over 1,000 unique LEGO pieces to build their own dream car with. Hard to think of a game that will give you better miles to the gigabyte than this one. It was good fun. Now, finally, it seems absurd to suggest that Red Dead Redemption could have possibly squeezed those vast American plains with their looming mountains and crisscrossing railway lines into less than 10GB. Surely that's not enough room for all those unforgettable characters, spontaneous adventures, and ferocious gunfights. But somehow, John Marston's whole epic saga clocks in at around 9.6GB. And that's the shiny remastered version that lets you play the whole thing in dazzling 4K on the Xbox Series X and S. What a time to be alive. Now then, let's squeeze things down even more for games that aren't even brushing their head on a 5GB ceiling. Citizen Sleeper and Citizen Sleeper 2 Star Wars Vector are both about 1.5GB. These acclaimed sci-fi RPGs take the tabletop gaming experience and put it onto your console, or your PC, or I guess back on your tabletop if you're playing on a handheld, and that's where you happen to be sitting. Now, we simply could not do this list without mentioning the biggest thing to happen to farming since Old MacDonald: Stardew Valley. Its 1.5 gigs contains a lifetime's worth of experiences as you carefully tend to crops and friendships alike, building your own home and getting married and decorating rooms and going fishing and drinking mayonnaise. Ah, that's the dream life. Chain Echoes is an old-school JRPG featuring classically styled turn-based battles, which work just beautifully on a smaller screen. Plus, it takes a whole epic tale of love, war, betrayal, and mechs, and somehow crams it all into just 1.3GB. And weighing in at 1.1GB, Vampire Survivors is a twin-stick auto-battler that offers a basically endless amount of fun as you fend off hordes of ghouls in a bid to see how long you can stay alive. It's handheld optimized too, and another great, I'll go to bed, just one more round kind of game. You know the type. Tunic is an ode to old school adventure games, right down to the little green tunicked fella with a sword. Its mysterious world seems to harbour endless secrets, even though the whole thing fits snugly into a 3GB download. And Deep Rock Galactic uses just under 4 GB to give players an effectively endless array of procedurally generated caves to explore. They're all full of valuable resources and deadly bugs, so you should probably bring a couple of other players with you. Otherwise, hi-ho, it's off to die you go. Now, let's move on to some absolutely preposterously tiny games, all of which will take up less than one single solitary gigabyte on your console's hard drive. With an install that clocks in at a measly 362 megabytes, you'll be amazed at how deep Animal Well goes. This puzzle platformer managed to eke an amazing amount of eeriness out of its low-res graphics, creating a mysterious world that's made all the more mysterious by the fact that the game leaves you to figure out pretty much everything for yourself. Its seemingly simple yet deviously deep 2D gameplay fits a handheld beautifully too. And it's a stream your own game title if you want to skip out on that download altogether. I'm going to pair these next two roguelites together, seeing as they feel like cousins from a diabolically Moorish game family. It might just be 472 megabytes big, but Balatro is the sort of game that can take over your whole brain, believe me. A poker-based deck builder where you can rack up ridiculous scores if you play your cards right. Over in Clover Pit, which is a little bit bigger at 757 megabytes, you'll be playing on a slot machine instead. But in either case, the goal is basically to find ingenious ways to break the entire game. The roguelite format makes them ideal for a quick burst of handheld gaming too, especially as they've both been optimized for handhelds and are both Xbox Play Anywhere titles. Now here's a question. If you've got exactly 15 minutes to play something, what's your number one choice? Hit the comments and let me know. Mine's probably Balatro. Now, if you spent your time in Clover Pit's locked room thinking, this prison sucks, I could build a way better prison than this, then you should definitely make Prison Architect your next itsy bitsy install. Weighing in at a gentlemanly 480 megabytes, this little game puts players in charge of their very own big house as they design the buildings, manage the staff, and decide what sort of prison that they want to run. The campaign throws all sorts of challenging scenarios at you, from fires to riots, while the sandbox mode lets you build the prison of your dreams. Should probably talk to someone if you've been dreaming about building prisons though. Loop Hero is a game so simple that it practically plays itself, This innovative adventure follows a noble hero as they adventure across a fantastical land, battling monsters and traversing mountains as they go. The catch is that all of that happens automatically, and your job is to shape the terrain which the hero encounters along the way, while also managing their equipments and resources. With the game loop so fun they named the whole thing after it, Loop Hero is another excellent option for ROG Xbox Ally players, a handheld optimized Xbox Play Anywhere title with an install of just 515 megabytes. Imagine an episode of Friends, except Joey is a centaur, Ross is a pixie, Phoebe is a mermaid, and so on, etc. Also, it all takes place in Seattle, which I guess would make it maybe more like Frasier. Anyway, what you've got is a lovable, laid-back coffee talk. In this gentle game, your only goal is to serve up delicious hot drinks while your customers vent about their problems. The lo-fi beats, pretty visuals, and clever writing make playing it feel just like curling up with a good book in a cozy coffee shop. And at 662 megabytes, Coffee Talk won't crowd out your hard drive either. And if you like what it's serving, you can go back for seconds with Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. Old school beat 'em up starring old school heroes have been all the rage ever since Shredder took his revenge. And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind lets you relive those glory days with a download that still sneaks in just under the 1 gigabyte mark. The 2D brawler gameplay is super easy to pick up, and up to 6 players can pulverize putty patrollers together in local multiplayer, making this the ideal game to quickly download when people come over. Most importantly, Rita's Rewind lets you pilot all the original Dinozords and the Megazord, which is basically everything I've ever wanted in the world since I was about 5 years old. Moonscars takes the haunted atmosphere and challenging combat of a Souls-like and shrinks it down into a 2D adventure that will take up just less than a gigabyte on your hard drive. And it's yet another handheld optimized title, which means that you can guarantee that both the game's painterly visuals and its fast-paced combat play just beautifully on a most compact device. This next one is the pits. The ball pits. Ah, what fun we have here on Xbox On. Clocking in at 993 megabytes, Ball Pit is a fast-paced roguelite where you plunge deeper and deeper into an endless pit of monsters. Fortunately, you've got all kinds of balls and you know how to use them to batter those monsters away, fusing them to create doubly devastating effects. With more than 60 randomized balls in the mix and a practically infinite variety of ways to fuse them, every game of Ball Pit feels totally different. Handheld optimized and Xbox Play Anywhere compatible, this is the perfect game to brighten up a boring lunch break. For more game recommendations, big and small, make sure you subscribe right here at Xbox On. See ya!